Scout wants to take this away from Xiaohu, do what Scout couldn't do last game, which is move first.
So now the question is, what do RNG want to go for here? Kalista, always an option. Gala has played it in the past, just a smidge, but not exactly like his most thought of champion, especially since he's played it 3 times, hasn't won a single game. So maybe RNG just decided to go for, okay, the swap of the mid laners here.
Yeah.
So chances are we'll see the Aphelios, honestly, here for Gala, more than likely. And then you'll get jungle or like a support match coming through here for RNG on their third.
I just wonder if we're going to completely reverse comps, because Dagda, if it's something like the Aphelios, even the jungle Poppy here, I was going to say maybe Wukong on the other side for Junja with his debut in this series, but we talked about him being supportive towards his laners, and as Poppy comes through as well, it means we're going to go a different direction. What do EDG look at here, Dagda? Because there's a lot of junglers open, and I'm not sure if I'm 100% on this yet.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't really like the Bel'Veth because, I mean, look, from the perspective of looking to scale, you're in a great spot, but you rely a lot on your dashes for damage, Poppy runes, all that. So I'd much prefer the Trundle selection here. You get to steal away a lot of those tanky stats from the Poppy, great early game skirmishing, the ability to kind of cause a ruckus for any of these. Say if you go for the short range AD carry like the Aphelios, a pillar in the right place can be a disaster for Gala. So I like what EDG are going for here with a lot of their answers. I imagine they just go for the Aphelios takeaway here themselves, So then you're kind of looking at Gala going, okay, well, what's your plan here? What do you want to try and go towards once more? Could easily just be the Jinx, though.
Yeah, it could be. I mean, Gala Jinx has been banned against him in the last game, and feels like it's always the natural response. We're just back in spring for Aphelios and Jinx. On another note as well, even though we don't get the Bel'Vething here from Junja, you know, seeing him on the Trundle yet again, which had such a great performance against LGD, gives me hope for EDG's early game this time around, as we do get that response pick for RNG. So pretty standard stuff so far, Dagda, and I just want to see what goes into the top side, because maybe Flandre and Breathe get a bit more priority this time. I don't want to see Sejuani, dude. Look at these two names. In what world does Sejuani spell it out? Yeah, start with the Vladimir ban. That gives me hope.
Yeah, I think the Vladimir ban, at least to me, feels like maybe RNG are trying to pick up a gangplank early, and I think GP works so well with this composition right now. You've got great late game scaling, you've got the ability to like slow the attack from EDG, because if you put down the cannon barrage, Aphelios, Taliyah, even Trundle gonna struggle with it to a certain extent. And even the case of, oh well, I've got a bunch of people that are trying to run at me on EDG's side, barrels galore, like gangplank, well, would have worked great in that scenario, and EDG are kind of reading that as well.
Yeah, so, you know, heads up ban here, especially with Breed having it as his, one of his most played champions just under the Gwen. Speaking of which, maybe that's where EDG go next, even with the nerfs in 12-13 Dagda. But for RNG, the target towards Flandre, remember that Flandre, I said, you know, Sejuani's not his kind of champion. Let's be real. He pulled this out top a couple of years ago when everyone was just like, what is happening? So Flandre definitely ahead of the times, which means we could see anything else up there with the Cannon now banned against a team that, as you said, the running could commence.
Yeah, I do like the idea of the Gwen, though. Like, very few poor matchups for the Gwen. And honestly, you're looking at late game scaling on RNG, so Gwen kind of fits into that equation. And if you're looking at the picks that are available that are at least in that top lane pool, it's like the Sejuani, these kind of things that aren't really suited best against the Gwen, but it looks like Breathe anyway, just going to keep his pick for red side last pick, and maybe we get Ming just going back towards his old trusty, and it will be the rusty anchor for me.
Oh yeah, you know, one of his best. He always flexes the Alistar. I'll be waiting for the day when Ming returns on that. Ming and Meiko, some of the best engage players in the league. Both great Alistars in their own right, as well. As we start looking at some form of that engage, Dagda, this would be something that we don't see anymore. I think Hung was the last person to really pull it out on FPX, but Meiko wants to try his hand at Sett. Most likely, well, yes, it's going to be the bottom lane.
Yeah, I agree. It's going to be the bot lane Sett, and I really like it. The idea behind Sett was that any champion that wants to try and engage in on top of you, Sett is just going to beat them up. It was a really good counter into things like the Leona, especially because you kind of then throw a lot of that engage back into RNG. And I think you're going to end up in a very similar situation here, where if Ming tries to engage, you get the ult coming through from Sett, and then you can set up for these big face breakers. Also, just the 2v2 becomes so much stronger in an all-in fight now for EDG if Meiko's able to set them up. So Gala and Ming are going to have to make sure they have their wits about them, but how they're trying to play that bot lane. But we already kind of talked about it, and Hysterics, you've nailed it. Gwen going to be going topside for Breathe.
Well, I mean, he just plays it a lot. I'm not sure if it's a nail down Dagda, more so
No.
just
The big brain genius right there.
That's it, dude. I start co-streaming LDL and I learn, I get a brain cell a day now. So now I can predict that Gwen's still going to be played in the LPL. We've been through 3 patches. They keep trying to nerf her. They keep trying to move her around. But Gwen still stands. And at the very least, Dagda, you already talked to me a little bit about, what EDG can do with the Sett pick. Run me through RNG a bit, because there's a lot of dynamics that, if not executed nicely, could kind of run amok and discoordinate, if that's a word, RNG's draft.
The thing for RNG is that there is a huge amount of late game scaling on their team, but the difference between what we saw from EDG last game and RNG this game is that they actually have pretty decent lane matchups, at least when it comes towards just the range and the ability to push. Like, Jinx should be able to get push against the Aphelios in the bot lane. You look up towards top, the Gwen should be able to get push against the Gragas as well and have a fairly decent time in that matchup. And then you've got Pop, who's basically just going to be kind of trying to keep everything in check as they scale into the later portion of the game. So this is kind of RNG going, hey, look, we beat you in the mid game last time. Now, we're going to put the question mark to EDG and say, hey, can you actually try and beat us before we get to the late game point? And that then starts to fall on towards Jiejie and Scout. Can they make the mid jungle work as well as the last game was for RNG?
Because last game, mid jungle took over, as you just stated. RNG made it so there were no options for EDG. Every single pathway blocked because Xiaohu's Taliyah. Scout, if he can do the same thing, would be picking up his 3rd win on the Taliyah, 2-0 on the champion, and has had pretty good performances himself on it. With Jiejie coming in, that's the biggest question. They've decided to sub out Jiejie, who was World Finals MVP, but has had ifs and buts thrown into the mix both in spring and summer. With a new jungler also comes new responsibilities. He's not Spider-Man Dagda, but I think he could be if he's able to save, this team now known as Mary Jane and get them into the 3rd game. All I can see, Dagda, all I can see is the fact that Viper is set up for success here, which seems to be a good thing considering that Viper has had a rougher end of the second half of this summer split.
Yeah, I think Viper has been incredible, apart from, I think one series where he had a bit of a mess up. I believe it's, the series against OMG, where OMG were able to take that win. But in general, he's been kind of the glue holding EDG together in a lot of their series. So I think for Viper, it's kind of been a bit hard for him because it feels like every game now Viper has to hard carry. And we've had some standout performances from Scout, but the consistent one has been Viper. And I think coming into this now, he's going to have to try and make sure that he can punish in the 2v2. And again, it has to be through all-ins. Like, Gala should have the range advantage, should be able to push in. He just has to be making sure that Meiko doesn't flash onto Gala and finding these early engages to start things in their favor.
Yeah, because that's how it works. We know that no Hex Flash taken, by the way, from Meiko.
Yeah, so just to give a heads up to everyone, on 12-13 in LPL, Hex Flash is not banned. I know in other regions it is, but you are still allowed to take it in the LPL. Not sure what the decision making around that is, but we just know you are allowed to take Hex Flash. So surprised that Meiko hasn't. The exact reason you play Sett is I'm going to burn my flash early, I'm going to face breaker you, and then I'm going to Hex Flash on you, and I'm going to face breaker you. Like, that is the gameplay loop for this Sett support.
Yeah.
So the fact you just have less of those flashes available is just really bizarre to me for Meiko.
Yeah, I mean, we've still seen Poppies today take it, so I don't know if it's miscommunication, what's going on, but at the very least, not taking the Hex Flash means that flash is down, and Sett loses an ability to play part of the game that we love seeing about him, so we'll put a bit more value on that summoner for now, Dagda, as we watch junglers start on opposite sides of the map. I was going to say to you as well, I feel like my reaction on Viper is maybe a reaction on the 2v2, and as we said, Meiko hasn't been playing up to par, as well as he had, in the World Championship and in 2021 too. So I feel like they're a product of both of the parts. And, Viper last game trying to step up, but Meiko constantly caught out on the Nautilus. And now with no Hex Flash, as we talked about, he's going to have to be pretty precise on this Sett, which is a spanner in the works, to say the least.
Yeah, and I definitely agree with the Meiko portion. Meiko has been having a real struggle, and it just feels like he has no idea what he's supposed to be doing. I think when we look back at like the successful system that EDG played in at Worlds 2021, it was, hey, we're going to play through mid jungle, Jiejie scout, get scout an advantage, lean into bot side, look for dragons, look to play around Viper Meiko, and had a really good successes.
Good face breaker. Ming has dredge line though. Ming should have a dredge line, wants to aim it for someone. However, it looks like even not level 2, EDG get their lane dominance here, and Gala's so low, Dagda.
I think we're diving. Junja is here, but Gala's going to peace out. I don't know if Ming wants to stay underneath this tower.
He wants to test it. All right, 1v3, face breaker kicks it off. Ming looking to lock someone down as he flashes away. Dredge line onto the AD carry, but Gala comes back in, now has the flash. Junja just joined in and already gets a double kill.
Oh, TP.
To
We're not
blast
done.
EDG's bottom lane, but Xiaohu, yeah, TPing a level 4. It's going to be triple TP or a triple bottom lane. Dead is Meiko, who can't get out of the play as Breathe now joins on in. Everyone from RNG committing as Breathe gets over the wall, but how's he going to get the slowdown? As he tries to deny Viper, they walk away. Double TP commitment here. Dagda, RNG did not want to put their head in the sand.
That's a huge overcommitment from RNG. They don't get the bot wave because everyone ends up chasing people out of the bot lane trying to look for kills and salvage the play. You end up losing everything as Gala and Ming on that. Like, just back away from this. Like, you do not need to be here, and you just accept you messed up on the level 2. You let Meiko close the distance, but Ming tries to stick around too long. Like, Meiko's tanking up so much of this the entire time. Gala Flash is still level 1, so Junja just able to flash forward, gets the chomp, which gets the slow. The red buff ends up taking the kill. But here, like, look at the size of this wave. That wave is just as much value as some of these kills, but all 3 members of RNG go to chase EDG out, so the wave dies.
Oh, Dagda, I love the commitment, but yeah, EDG with the gold play, of course, and 2 kills over to Junja. This jungle Trundle is going to be in a great position with Sheen, double longsword picked up off the back, and as you said, the wave denied for EDG right now as it crashes here. Looks like we'll have a slow push setting back to Gala, but Gala's still behind NCS. Gala has to come out of the wave. And Meiko and Viper level 4 and 3 respectively. Gala is only just level 2.
And the problem now is that you've got a slow push being set up by Viper and Meiko in the spot side. They're just moving in towards mid now to get Scout the opportunity to push out, and they go for Dragon. And this is something that EDG has always leaned on in their game plans. I mean, at the moment, EDG have the 5th highest Dragon rate in the league, and they want to try and make sure that that's going to be a win game for them once more.
I mean, Junja putting so many eggs in the basket at bottom lane. This is a complete different look, as last game, Jiejie was very reactive. This game, Dagda, Junja is so proactive, trying to get Xiaohu now as well. This will be a 2v2 in the mid lane, as Scout takes the most damage. Xiaohu with good fancy stepping, but as Pillar comes up, Wei is going to counter this, and Scout can't walk in any further. So Wei and Xiaohu once again linking up, and to the benefit of giving Xiaohu space in this mid lane.
Yeah, still, though, Junja should be in a decent spot here to try and cover onto his bot side. There, he's going to hop over the wall, at least considering starting up Dragon, because Meiko never had to burn his flash in that last engagement. Remember what we said, he's not running the Hex Flash, so having access to that summoner spell is so important for Meiko, and with the way pushed in bot side, Gala's still 2 levels down. I don't know if RNG really want to go for this.
I mean, they're just beelining it towards Viper, but yeah, Wei can't get on top of him. Now he's grabbing him. And with a good heroic charge away, Viper just instantly flashes. They're trying to help RNG's bottom lane, but Dagda, it's so doomed.
I mean, RNG said they wanted to go for 3 games against EDG. I didn't think they wanted it that bad, because everything is going disastrously here for RNG. Nothing is coherent. And when we just got off of a game where RNG looked so clean, so calculated, reading everything that EDG were doing on the map, it just has gone completely out the window now.
Oh, God. I don't know how you look at RNG game 1 and game 2 like this. It's kind of like JDG, right?
Yeah,
JDG, we see a game 1 so clean, and then game 2 you're like, dude, did JDG just like replace all 5 players? You know, put in the coaches, put in the refs, and then they come back game 3 and then they look clean again. So for RNG in this game number 2, trying to find something, because the gold leads are building up. We've got about 1,500 as Wei finds another angle. He is not going to say die here, Dagda.
Got Xiaohu in the wings as well. Jiejie is here. Meiko, I think, knows that something's up and is just kind of playing a ward for himself.
Meiko, he knows that's sus as they spotted out. The dredge line comes first. Viper used the flash before and aggressively. The Emperor's slide and glide means that EDG are divided and their bottom lane will suffer the price. Now Gala has his chance to push in and deny wave of his own. You got to say this, Dagda, RNG don't give up easy.
Take two, going for the dive.
Wait, how want to take it,
Gala.
Yeah, Gala took a turret shot on the way out as well, and that ends that as Flandre is just going to be setting up the jungle.
Yeah, I mean, he doesn't want to try and move in towards this top side. Breathe has full control there. Should be able to just walk his way back over, but trying to punish something on this bottom side for Wei. Also taking away the buff. May deny Wei level 6. I'm not entirely sure how close he is to that, but definitely one of the more valuable camps on this top side, but would more than likely still be able to hit off of. Raptors is great flash from Meiko as Ming nerdy gets him there.
At max range as well. Meanwhile, EDG's response play is going to be breathing top side. Need to work to slow down, but the Weaver's Wall gives him no path out. In the 1v3, old Gwen would laugh at this, and Dagda probably win it. But new Gwen, you know, any Gwen after that is even the snip coming through. God, why is it still so close?
Yeah, nerfed early game. Maybe not nerfed enough, as Flandre says, but still, EDG get the pick here. Good push from Xiaohu in that mid lane, though. I think he will get a turret plate off of this, just with Scout not being able to get back in time. Wei considering picking off Flandre as he moves across, but EDG will still get this Rift Herald.
Well, Wei is going to try and put a stop to a TP in the top side. RNG are not giving up anything in this series, even though they're behind as Gala gets knocked into the wall. Meiko going deep, maybe too deep. A zap comes through. Meiko, this is not his series as Wei's going to die in the meanwhile. Flashes on his death as Junja's now running down Xiaohu, has to burn his flash too. RNG are playing like Rogue Warriors from 2020.
And I don't know if I want to go on that wild ride again. That was definitely a suspicious one, but RNG here, this is kind of insane. Like, Wei is not looking so hot in the poppy, and especially when he looked so good in the last series on this pick. To see him now struggle so much is insane. Like, he just has no help here. Breathe is in that top side. Xiaohu is a little bit late to roam across, missing the ultimate as well. It's a disaster across the board for the jungler on RNG, and here just a bit of an overextension from Meiko. Hit 6, thinks he'll be able to get out, but there's just so much CC from Meiko, or sorry, from Ming. It's just, and also the chompers in the way, he can't get back out.
I mean, Flandre Junja, that was, you know, Wei misses, but that ulti from Flandre and the instant flash from Junja, such good fingers. I mean, honestly, I'm 27. I never made it in League of Legends, you know, Dagda. I never made it much out of plat. But I tell you what, if I had fingers like that, no, I should stop this story. If I had fingers like that, League of Legends would be an easier job.
Hey, look, you're a musician. I've seen what you can do on a couple of different your piano and stuff. Don't sell yourself short, man.
I can't, you know, because of League of Legends, because I only play support, you know, I can play using my index finger, right? Because that's my ward button. But it's the pinky that's a problem, dude. You know, playing Ashe support, when do I ever Q? When do I ever use Flurry? Is Scout with a good setup. Oh, Xiao's just knocked back. Ulti hits no one. And his Scouts aren't sending a threaded volley once again in the line of fire to Xiaohu as Spectator Bug doesn't work out too well for us. But RNG's mid laner gets away. But Junja and Scout are now doing what Wei and Xiaohu did to him in game 1.
No TP for Xiaohu, so he kind of has to stay here and take his beatings. Dragon in 10 seconds. That's what EDG are looking for here, forcing RNG away from the objective.
Okay, Junja in fog of war. Gala with the traps out. He's got PTSD this game, as Meiko will walk up. RNG grouping up as a 3-man towards mid, but with that, Viper gets priority in the bottom side. Herald over the wall from Scout means it's going to be first turret blood for EDG, and Dagda, 3k gold lead, all given to this AD carry, who is 40 CS plus up, thanks to a great early game from him and Meiko.
And Junja. This is the difference that Junja brings to the table. We talked about the early aggression, playing for lanes, and now maybe needs to get bot lane.
Oh god, oh well, Ming will flash it away, he's going to start the play. Viper taking a bit of damage, but That was a weird interaction from Meiko with the showstopper and Wei getting out with a heroic charge. But with Herald getting its own charge, Scout with the Weaver's Wall wants to make it something here into the line of fire. Wei's by himself and a good face breaker, buying time with the stopwatch, but no turret there anymore. And EDG pummeling RNG. They want this to go the distance.
And again, the Dragon was taken on the backside of this, so everything for EDG on this bot side. Viper is huge, and when we talked about Viper being the one that needs to step up and be the damage dealer, already with the Mythic, a BF sword, his boots completed. Gala can't compete. Xiaohu is the only one that can really match damage perspectives when you look at this Azir, but even the Azir behind in comparison to how big Viper is.
Yeah, and we'll continue staying at that size for a while. 1.5 items versus no item at all. Components for Gala. Level 7 versus level 8. At least the level lead isn't as bad as we saw before, but RNG behind almost 5,000 gold against 2 dragons. Dagda, walk me through a little bit about how long we have to wait for RNG to get relevant in this game, or if you just feel like EDG are going to stay ahead because of this Aphelios.
I mean, 3 items is really where you're looking at RNG being the difference maker. The Aphelios is definitely going to help, don't get me wrong, because just with how far accelerated Viper is, he's going to make this mid-game a lot more difficult for RNG. Especially when you look at like the next few objectives that are coming up. You got 2 minutes until the Rift Herald is going to be spawning. You'll see probably pop up on your screen in just a moment. That's where EDG now can look to crack open even more of these turrets.
Breathe and Flandre go for the 1v1. I mean, EDG right now looking to pummel Xiaohu as it's a catch-up on the pick. Meiko has the flashes. That pillar great again. Xiaohu needs to get out of there as the keeper's verdict is threatened. Remember, that is only going to be on a 15-second cooldown now. 10, excuse me, as Wei took the blast code. Wei took the blast code, and I guess he's going to be okay now. You were looking at Breathe, Dagda, and the reason is because everyone from EDG is hit.
No hollowed mist either. It means Breed doesn't have that safety tool.
But Meiko's behind himself. I mean, looking for the showstopper to bring him into the team. That works, but Viper's ulti doesn't connect, at least with the Haymaker. The shield is enough to keep him alive. So EDG with another great pick. And as you were saying before, it's in front of the Herald. It's in front of this top lane turret. And guess who's going to get the gold for it?
And I love how EDG are just bullying their way around RNG's side of the map. Like, they're just moving as this 5-man unit, pushing inside, then grouping, making it impossible for RNG to actually stand toe-to-toe against them. Now Viper gets to take the top lane. You'll move over towards the Rift Herald in just a moment when it spawns. That's going to be used to take the mid lane, and suddenly all outer towers are down for RNG, and EDG can continue to play this bullying style with Scout, threatening with the Weaver's Wall as he starts to push out these side lanes and leaning in towards the mid lane.
I mean, he's got two minutes till Dragon too. So with RNG still having all outer turrets available in this game, I feel like for EDG, Dagda, we're going to start seeing that Weaver's Wall punished right before that window. Junjo, speaking of, is going to be on this objective first, and we can see that RNG have interest in it. The pings are going down, but how do you get out on the map without getting surprised by Meiko, Scout, or especially Flandre?
And they have so many ways to surprise you in that manner. Like the Weaver's Wall, Trundle Pillar, Flandre potentially with a belly bop, Meiko able to get the ultimate after he gets the face breaker off. You've so many ways of very quickly picking members off and being so powerful in skirmishes as well that you just can't really threaten it as RNG. So RNG instead being very careful in moving all members to the mid lane, apart from Xiaohu, to try and defend against this tier 2 push from EDG.
But I mean, Scout's on the wing, and Scout's Weaver's Wall to zone them off the turret. That's what I'd be scared of here as he clears out a ward there. But knows to his location, but Xiaohu angling himself for a flank. They know he's somewhere in the brush, but it matters with the engage if Xiaohu can find a huge Weaver's Wall. However, Scout right now is the better mid laner in this game, and as they spot him out, RNG still group Dagda, but trying to move their way slowly into this Dragon Pit.
Yeah, tier 2 and mid won't be taken, but EDG always have the opportunity to just run back into mid and take that one if RNG overextend. Gala, very separated from the squad, so he might have to take the long way around, but looks like EDG won't want to try and threaten too heavily.
Oh, I think they saw him. I believe they saw Flandre go over the wall. Not sure as we toggle vision. Control ward will do a lot as Flandre's now there. Gala hoping someone saves him, but who's it going to be as he uses his first part of the poke? The showstopper from Meiko. The 2-man face breaker. Breathe sets up with the needlework as Ming is the first to go. Gala's built the space, but doesn't have the damage. Scout with a great Emperor's Divide, but EDG, this might be the reverse case of Deja Vu. The Xiaohu tries. EDG are too far ahead. They bring a triple kill to Viper's face, and this one going the distance, that's got match of the week written all over it.
A 1-for-5 trade for EDG. 3 dragons to their name, and this is where EDG's comfort zone is. Multiple different angles of attack. Scout does a great job of separating the team on RNG's side. Gala's forced to burn the Flash and Cleanse almost instantly, so he has to play so safe in this fight. And Xiaohu is trying his damnedest, but Viper getting off so much damage with this Infernum. So many peel tools available for EDG, with Scout even getting the seismic shove to make sure that his AD carry doesn't fall.
And the debut of this jungler as well for EDG is just giving them forward momentum. Might sound like a bit of a cop-out, but Junja, 100% kill participation is, Meiko missed the scuttle. We'll see that again.
Yeah, we say nothing.
But Junja, now with Spirit Visage picked up, curious second item against probably the most strong member of RNG, and Xiaohu has done so well in this early game, Dagda, and has been a very different look for EDG.
I mean, Junja having that more aggressive outlook, willing to play towards his lanes, is exactly what EDG need in this scenario, and it's working out brilliantly. I mean, Junja 408, 100% kill participation, and I really like the idea of the Spirit Visage against both solo laners being AP damage, and the fact as well that so often Junja is going to be trying to get healing off of the
Ming?
Subjugate, off of the... Ooh, hang on.
Oh, Dredgeline denied, he has to flash. I mean, that was Operation Kill Gala, turned into Operation Find Ming, turned into now Operation Make a Dive Happen. Breathe is separated again. As he steps up to the plate, his needlework held for the time being. Scout is, Xiaohu is going to be dealing with the bottom side while the flank is here from Wei. Wants to separate EDG, but the helicopter takes off back in the other direction.
Yeah, I mean, I like that Xiaohu is trying to trade, but he doesn't have TP to get back here, so it's kind of an empty threat here from RNG, and
Kill
EDG
Flandre.
willing to call the bluff. Now, Flandre will find Xiaohu.
It's a Gragas with flash, though. I mean, in the brush. Okay, send him backwards. He presses E. You stop him, explosive cast. How are you going to kill Flandre here, RNG? At least an attempt was made, but Flandre actually did more damage to you.
They will try and steal away the red buff, but you see the pings on Baron here for EDG. They know that if RNG are spending this much time bot side, and Xiaohu hasn't reset with no TP, they can potentially just try and rush this down. Viper just trying to spam the Infernum there on his Q to see if he can swap over to the white gun, which I assume is going to be coming through next.
I mean, Viper, close to, right? I mean, he's got 2 items. He's got himself a stopwatch as well. And the ability to burn that Baron at 20 minutes into the game. If EDG are able to close this out in the next 5 minutes, Dagda, we are going to have a pretty quick first couple of games. A stomp from EDG here, a stomp from RNG in the first game. It's been relatively one-sided so far. And as EDG start dotting the I's with their vision, we'll have to watch and see if they're able to get themselves a pick right before the objectives. RNG are grouping up on top of a ward. They haven't lent his part as over. Meiko goes to face break and denies and gets 3 members. Meiko now redeemed with a haymaker that blows Ming apart. The Nautilus 1 hit away. Flandre with a barrel roll. Nice job, Fox. EDG all the way back to Baron they go. 3 members alive for RNG to stop it.
There's very little that RNG can do, though. Wei not up and available. Xiaohu is strong with 2 items, but Gala not nearly at the point where he can be relevant in these fights.
Xiaohu, okay, forcing the flash out of Scout. That's something considering he didn't have his own. But he's still got the Emperor's Divide. EDG at 4K here has Breathe. Gala want to take it on, running forward with the Weaver's Wall, zoning them off. Gala now flown over the wall. The steal not acquired as Breathe is the first to go. Xiaohu now awkwardly between spaces. The Emperor's Divide comes through, but the soldiers seem to be on EDG's side. A based play from EDG once again. And all I can say, Dagda, is this is the team we wanted to see. A great early game, strong lanes, EDG back in form.
And it feels like EDG of old. I mean, bullying your way, throwing your weight around, this is what EDG used to do when they would get these leads. Meiko having a fantastic engager, the 3-man face breaker sets up beautifully, and this great team fight once more with Viper and Scout safely nestled in behind their tank frontline, and Flandre and Meiko is running amok on RNG.
flash forward way, getting out with a heroic charge once again. Flandre, go get some cardio. Okay, well, he's out for the time being. RNG now on the defense because this 11k gold lead is going to be hard to stop, especially with an Ocean Soul that is just going to be given over to EDG for free. We are slowly burning Dagda. The meme very strong here, you know, saying this is fine, but RNG in this game are not fine at all.
No, and you say it's a slow, like we're slowly burning. It's 23 minutes into the game. Baron taken, Soul for EDG. They have ramped up this game astronomically, and RNG are miles away from being worthwhile in this game when it comes to items. So EDG now going to set up with the Baron buff. This is where it can get a bit dangerous though. RNG have their tower, they have decent range. EDG need to make sure that they're utilizing this Baron buff to its fullest to make sure they can get these towers.
I mean, now with the Ocean Soul as well, I feel like sieging potential Dagda from Meiko is going to be huge. Flash is still available, the all-in, the showstopper at the ready. Turret goes down, Flandre runs through with Everfrost, Ming gets engaged with the explosive cars, means that Xiaohu just goes back a little bit as the Weaver's Wall stops him, instead sending him forward. Look at the AoE actually, as Breeze starts this off and Ming tries to get engaged on the back end. He goes golden, but Xiaohu Gala still alive. However, they need to kill Viper and Xiaohu goes into his death. Facebreaker, showstopper, Meiko showing his six-pack, and Viper says, I can bench 200 kilos as well. The bottom lane absolutely outlifts RNG's Gala and Ming, while EDG put on a showcase for our game number 2.
That was incredible from EDG. Performances across the board were spectacular. Jiejie getting these early leads, playing around this bottom side. Scout looking fantastic on this Taliyah. So many of those unraveled earths, making it so hard for Xiaohu to make his plays happen. For any of these answers to come through from Ming with the engages. EDG had that down to perfection, and that's the world champions that we know and love.
I mean, seeing Meiko in form, right, is something that we don't know much from this split. We talked about criticism for the bottom lane for EDG. In game number 1, you know, Meiko's Nautilus getting caught out a little bit. The engage is not in the same path, or at least the same game plan as the rest of EDG. I feel like for world champions, you know, you have these high bars, and there's been games this split where they haven't been filled. But Jiejie giving a nice reset for EDG is not only a good thing, but, you know, the quality of play with him focusing bot Dagda 24/7. He's a call center, but instead of calling all these other numbers, he's just like, I'm going to keep ringing until this person picks up.
And it felt like EDG were kind of going, hey, look, we don't care what the meta is or what the style is. Like, we have answers, right?
Yep.
Ming brings out the Nautilus, we get the Sett. We get the Poppy coming out, we take Trundle. One of Jiejie's pocket picks and kind of one of his favorite champions as well. Like, across the board, it was them going, hey, we are going to be on comfort. We are going to play through strong lanes. We're going to make sure that we can actually find these advantages for ourselves. And a huge amount of that was playing down towards the bottom side, making sure Viper and Meiko could continue to punish through this early mistake that Gala and Ming made at level 1, and driving that forward with dragons, with Rift Heralds, with a very smooth gold graph to an easy early victory.
You said early mistake level 1, Dagda. That sounds familiar. That sounds very familiar. A mistake at level 1 that cost Scout, that set the early game away. And in game number 2, you know, RNG doing the same thing. Gala and Ming getting caught out. The greediness in the lane costing them so much. And, you know, RNG tried to double down at each step. Like, we saw Wei and Xiaohu trying to recover bot side. But every time it was doubled down, EDG and the rest of the map were either winning out or going even or, you know, equalizing the play, Dagda. I think when we said hand stiff for game number 1, I think it could easily be returned from EDG obviously getting a good grasp on how to play out this game with RNG, throwing everything against the wall.
Yeah, I definitely feel like these early mistakes when you're against teams of this caliber can mean so much. We saw it in game number 1 where mid jungle ran away with it. We saw it in this game where the bot lane ran away with it with some massive help coming through from Jiejie and Scout. So honestly, I think Jiejie, great addition to EDG at the moment, feels like exactly what this team needs to kind of get back to the winning lane, winning style that they used to play back last year.
Well, let's hope it brings us to a game number 3 where those styles indicate the skill from EDG and RNG, hopefully at both of their peaks. Ladies and gentlemen, we go to a break, then we get to our 9th game of the night, our final game of our match of the week between these old rivals in RNG and EDG.